All right. Welcome everyone to episode number 93 of CoCreative NoCode office hours. We are getting started here with Brittany and Thomas and Jay this morning, and Kim is here as usual. And if this is your first time tuning in, perhaps you're watching the replay on YouTube, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Make sure you get our notifications so you can tune in and learn about whatever we're working on a daily basis. And that's the thing, is we do this every day of the week, Monday through Friday, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific time, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. If you would like to join us for a complimentary session, go ahead and email team@CoCreativeNoCode.com. We'll get back to you with the Zoom details for our next session. And we'd love to have you and show you what we do. Essentially, office hours is we tackle any bubble.io topic you can come up with. If you have a bug problem, if you have a feature request and you're trying to think through how to plan that out, whatever you want, we'll talk about it. So welcome everyone. How are you today?
Good.
Awesome. I think we'll go ahead and alleviate Brittany's frustrations. So I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll get this handled.
Okay. Okay, so here we are. So yesterday I tried to implement where when a freelancer has completed a work order, they can hit the complete button and then it'll go to they'll hit this complete order button and then it'll show this pop up, and they would have to drop in the files, to make sure that they actually completed it and sent the order out. And then I have a workflow, and it's kind of working, but it's not. So let me show you guys on this page. Okay, so I'm logged in as a freelancer, and this is the work order she has. So if she wanted to complete it, she will have to, and I may have to unshare my screen just to download something, because I have it set to, they can't hit complete order. It's mandatory for something to be in that box.
Sure, no worries.
So let's see. Okay, that's cool. We can put that in there. And so if they hit complete, it will go to the orders that they have completed, but it's not showing the actual order. It's showing the cards, because I've done this like multiple times. So I know that it's saving the completed work order, but it's not showing, the information. So I don't know where I'm going wrong.
Sure. Let's start with the repeating group where you're trying to show the orders.
Okay, so let's go to completed work order.
And out of curiosity, do you have any privacy rules set up on work orders?
Actually, yes. I didn't think to look on that. So I have accepted work orders. Okay, so if the work order isn't accepted, and everyone can see it. That's what this one is. And this one is all work orders accepted by current user. So basically, if it's accepted, then only the person who created the work order can see it, and the one who accepted it can see it.
Okay.
And current user is this. Oh, that's the same, the business owner.
Yeah, it's making sure that the creator can see it, and then the person who is the person who created it and the person who accepted it are two different users, right?
Right.
Okay. And then nobody else can see it.
Right.
All right. That all looks fine. Since we know that it's being found in the search, otherwise you wouldn't have anything. then I guess this looks okay. So that's good. So let's go back to the repeating group in the design tab. So click on that search for completed work orders. You're looking for, it's created by the current user. Okay, but I have a question. Is the person who's completing the work the created person, or
Well,
is it the person who accepted it?
so they're the person who accepted the order, but the only reason why I chose the created by field here is because I have a data type set up for completed work orders. And I was thinking that they would be the creator of the completed work order. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, I see. So work order and completed work order are two different things. So your repeating group is a completed work order,
right,
and that's being created by the person who's completing it.
right.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So let's go to the completed work orders privacy rules.
Okay. This
So
type.
there are none, so it's invisible. All right. And then let's go into your database and go into app data. And then completed work orders. There are 3 of them. And that's the person that you're logged in as when we're on
Right.
that page. Okay. And then what's the data that's supposed to be showing in the
So
repeating group?
I want the same information that's on the work order, the card. So this, oh, hold on. I think it's getting in my way. So if I would like this same information here to show up on the other page, because eventually I'm going to have this card be deleted from current work orders. So they won't be able to see it here. And it'll just be in, their log.
So I think, okay, so fundamentally, this is not an assignment for you. This is just something to think about. Fundamentally, I don't think you're going to end up wanting to have a completed work orders thing in the database. I think you're just going to want to have work orders, and then there will be a field called status. And the status will tell you whether it's a current one or a completed one, or even a deleted or archived one, right?
Okay.
And you wouldn't want to set up a deletion. You'd want to keep a record of it. So you wouldn't actually want to delete things from the database. You'd want to just mark it as deleted. So that's a fundamental one. In terms of fixing the issues that you're having showing that information on the page that you're trying to, can you go back to the data types and into the completed work orders? So the completed work orders, we have completed uploads. Work order is referring to a work order, and work order complete is a list of work orders. All right, so you have the ability to, I'm assuming that completed work order is only related to one work order, not a list.
Okay.
Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, so that's fine. Work order complete. So I would maybe just, you don't have to delete it right this second, but maybe make work order complete, say, deprecated in the front of it, so that we can just make sure that we don't call on it. So
I can just delete it, because if I'm not going to use that one.
That's fine. If you're not going to use it and you don't think it's anywhere else.
I was just trying different things.
Sure. Okay. So now we have the link back to the work orders and not the work order. So that's good. So go back to your design. And this is the repeating group that we're worried. Nope. Oh, the past one. Okay. Got it. So you're referring to, so go to the repeating group level. The repeating group is searching for completed work orders, okay? And then go into the reusable in the cell. Current cells completed work orders, work order. That should be right. Go back to your database. Go to the app data. Click on the, yeah, you don't have any references to the work orders. That's why it's pulling up that there are completed ones, but since you don't have a reference to the work order in each of those things, Bubble is trying to get data that's not there. That's why it's not working.
So I would need to add in like all of the data that is actually on this card under.
No, what you need to
Okay.
do is when you create the completed work order, you need to make sure to store the original work order in that field.
Oh, so when I create the completed
See
work
how it's
order.
empty there where it says work order equals?
Yeah, this is what I was struggling with. This is literally where I ended right before we began.
Okay,
So
and would it be parent groups work order or
I
no?
tried that and it didn't work. So
Okay, so go to parent groups work orders. So let's see what the parent group is. Right click on that expression. Yeah, it's not going to take us to where it is. Right click on the when on the workflow itself,
okay.
and then reveal the element. Okay, and then how do we know which work order this is related to? Did you display it in the pop-up?
I did not. So really from each card, I just, whenever they hit the complete order button on the card, it would just show the pop-up. I didn't have it.
So in the workflow that shows this pop-up, you also need to display the work order in the pop-up itself in order for everything to be inherited to pass that information in.
Oh, okay. So I need to go back to not this, not that either. This button, if I can get it to come up.
Yep.
And instead of just
So-
showing the pop-up, I need to.
Yep, if you just add a new action in front of that.
Oh.
And then go to element actions and display data.
Would it be
It's going to be in the pop-up complete order. And then the data to display is going to be I'm guessing it's the parent group's work orders. Now that's okay, just leave that there and go to that pop-up in the design. And the data type is going to be completed work, or sorry, work orders. And you'll just leave that data source empty, and that's fine. And now we just need to make sure that the groups that are inside of the pop-up have inherited all of that.
okay. So do we go here, go to actual preview, or go back to the
Just check the group that button is in, just see where it's getting its information from. So from the so parent groups work orders, but no, that's right. That's what you wanted. We just need to make sure that its parent group's work order is being inherited from the pop-up. So go to the design section. And then click on the group that's around the button. And then it's a work order. The data source should be the parent group's work order.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And now go, if you scroll down and select the first parent, where it says select parent child.
Oh, wait.
Yep, you're almost there. Where it's the,
Oh,
the
okay,
drop
okay.
down. Yep, there you go. So pop up complete order, just click on that and we'll just double check. And yes, we know that the pop-up is going to get that data when we display it before we show it. So that should be good. So
Okay.
now it should work.
Okay. So let's refresh. And I have not, let's try it again, because I haven't set it to where she could just go to the page itself. Yeah, I don't have a button for that, so
Got it.
I'm just gonna.
While you're testing that, I'd like to say hello to Reece. Welcome.
Hey, hey.
It's been a while. Good to see
Yes, it has. Thank
Okay.
you.
you.
It's good to be back.
Good.
Okay, that worked. But now, since you mentioned not saving all this data because it will, you know, I didn't know how to keep track. I did want to keep track of it, so I didn't know how to keep track of that information. But I may want to come back to your
The first
suggestion.
thing that I said.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. No problem.
Okay, but thanks.
Yeah, of course. Perfect. Jay, what you got for me?
Let me show you. You're gonna be like, not this again, but I changed stuff in the database and now I've broken something on the.
You probably did it because I told you to do it, so.
Yes, that's exactly true. It
It's
is
my
your
own
fault.
It's all my own darn fault.
So this is a master database of plants and it includes a couple things that are going to be relevant, the colors that it blooms and the months it blooms. And the thing that I am trying to get out of the system entirely is this list of users, because there's no need to have this here. So instead of having this, there is now this data type, my plant. So this is the user's personal plant. Okay, this is included here, but it's not getting populated for reasons, but so ignore that. So this exists. So here's the problem. Let me get to it. So right now I'm running in a mode with a test user who only has one plant and the plant is blush pink and it blooms all summer. So that's what should be showing, but what isn't. I know what the problem is. I just don't know how to get around it.
Okay.
Okay. Can you guys see? Because I'm not seeing.
Nope, it just turned off your screen
Okay.
sharing. I'm not sure why.
Me neither. There we go. Because I clicked the wrong button. That would be why. Okay, so everything else here is working, but this is not. Ignore this. This is just me messing around. So the white one. So eventually what this is going to show is those things at the top. There we go. But it's not going to show this. And here's, what anything in there. And here's why. It's because, okay, so this is a container group. It does nothing. This is the months, not relevant for this. This is the header with the dates and stuff, also working fine and not a problem. Here's where the problem begins. This one is okay. It's a search for my plants. It's all good. But then I get down to here, which is actually where the content is. This is a search for all plants, the master, and the user contains the current user. It also is these things, which are highly relevant. But if I change this to my plants, I don't have access to these two things anymore.
Got it. So can you get access to those through filters?
That's what I'm thinking, but I'm just not sure how to go about it. So I guess it would be here.
But that seems like it's advanced stuff. So can you, if you really need to do have access to it, then the access is going to come from having those fields on the data type. So like when you create the my plant as opposed to the all plant. So why don't you have access to that in the constraints? I mean,
Oh, because that's not populated, because I just added it the other day to see if it would work. I know it would work, but then I have to go back through the whole app and figure out every place that this needs to be added to a workflow. And I just thought maybe there was a way around it that would be easier than that. Because I
Well, go
also
back to
need
the-
to add bloom month. So that means that every single field in this data type is going to have a lot of information.
right.
I'm not
Oh.
sure if that's a bad thing, you know, because like color options, there are red roses and white roses. Maybe you only grow white. So this makes sense here.
Yeah, but what you said the problem was is you didn't have access to that. Can you go back and show
Yeah.
me why you don't have access to that? Or
No, the
at least show
problem
me
is,
that you don't. So search for all plants really should be search for my plants, right?
yes. That's me messing around with it and trying to get it to work. This is what it was before. Yeah. So search for all plants, and then it had current user, and that's what needs to be here is current user instead of as well as these.
Mhm.
And if I change it to my plant, I can find this. But then I'm going to have to go back and add bloom months. They don't exist in. I mean, is that the easiest thing to do is to add it in the data type?
Yes.
Okay, I can do that.
Yeah. I mean, like, it would be nice if it was easy to just like connect things. That's kind of the whole point for like backend lists really, is because then you can create these views that take these connected data, because there's a connection from a my plant to an all plant, that you would be able to use create a table with columns from either one of those data types, and then you could query the database with that configuration without having to actually build it out in the database. But with Bubble, you have to build it out in the database. So there's a lot of redundancy in our data types, is just because of the limitations of Bubble. But you know, you can do it, and as long as you like take it into account and you do it correctly, it works just fine. So
Okay, well, I'll go ahead and do that. So, and while we're on the topic, this is related. So when doing an app search, let's say I want to go find that. I want to find every place, that a user adds a record to my plant. And I tried finding that in here.
so
and-
action type,
okay,
create a new thing, contains text, and then I would put my plant.
okay. I wasn't sure about the contains text, if the text was a text or the text was a field. All right, that is great. I can go fix that. Thank you.
You're
I have
welcome.
another ongoing issue with the message center. So when you have another lull, come back to me.
Definitely. Yeah, we'll go through. I know, Thomas, you said you didn't have anything, but has anything come up in the meantime?
Nope.
No. All right, Reece, what you got for me?
Hey.
Hey.
I'll give you one guess what it's about.
Responsiveness.
That's it.
Then it's a good thing Jay and Thomas are on the phone, so that's good. On the line.
Oh my God, this stuff.
Also,
that's too
welcome,
much.
Jordan. I saw you pop in.
Right.
So you just want me to share my screen?
Sure. By the way, but since the last time we talked, Reece, I've had a conversation with someone who was a beta tester for the new responsive engine, and he
Oh,
loves
yeah?
it.
Oh my
Mhm.
God, when do we get it?
So
Please tell me it's
he's
tomorrow.
yeah, I know, right? Well, and then of course the founders just did some sort of like social media tease the other day saying that our responsive engine is coming sooner than you think. And it's like, no, it's not. It can't.
It
You already
can't.
passed that deadline.
Right,
Um,
2 weeks ago or 2 years ago would have been awesome.
Right.
Or the
But-
day before I started learning Bubble would have been the best.
Right,
day.
exactly. But Justin was telling me, so the way they did it is they had him on a Zoom call and they watched him as he was using it. And he said that what he saw was like the biggest thing is collapsing horizontally, right? Because like
Yeah.
that solves
Yes.
so many problems right there. So, but were you gonna share your screen, Reece?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. But yeah, I can't wait. I'm excited, and I'm
I don't know
excited
what are
that
we gonna
Justin said it
complain
was
about?
working.
I'm super excited to see it, and I don't know what I'm going to complain about after it's released. I'm going to have to find a new topic.
Oh, Thomas came up with a list yesterday.
Oh,
so
did he?
he's keeping track of all of the complaints.
Oh my God. Yeah, because I mean, there was talk about it coming back out in March, and then it was delayed by a month or two, and then it's delayed
Yeah.
again. Jesus.
Well, and they're also
Um,
supposed to have a new editor in general. So
I don't have any problems with the editor.
me either.
There's a couple things I like
Okay.
searchable errors. That would be awesome.
Yes. All right, Reece, what are we looking at?
Okay, so this is probably super simple. I probably just overthought it, and the solution's probably right there in my face, but I can't see it. So I've got this just this box here. So I've given a little bit of a margin, and then I've also got this box inside, which is a little bit of a margin again. However, when you go responsive and you drag it across, it sort of pushes through both of them and then just pushes everything. Like it doesn't maintain the two margins on the side.
So have you tried putting a narrow group in on each side of the
Mhm.
center group?
Well, the thing is I've done this before on other things that I've worked on, and there hasn't been a problem. I just set it to a specific width, and then as it shrinks, it always just keeps that little patch on the side.
So let's open up the inspector
Yep.
for in responsive, sorry. In the
Oh, sorry,
responsive
yeah.
one. Yeah.
Right.
Collapse margins when container width is less than or equal to 0. So like, I'm guessing there's something to do with, because that's what you're talking about is the margins are collapsing and you don't want them to collapse.
Yeah, well, I mean, there aren't actually any, I guess, yeah.
That's just a guess. I am not a responsive expert. I don't
What
claim
is
to
the
be. I
setting on
don't
the white
even play
group?
one on TV.
What's the setting on the white group versus the blue group? Can we see both?
Yeah, so
Right,
they're just,
so-
these are fixed width.
That's what it is. It's fixed width. Take that off.
I tried that earlier. It didn't do anything. Still,
Yeah, change it to 20 so it's all the same. Go back. It's on 99. Yeah, see how that one's 20 and that one's 99? Change it to the same.
okay.
The white, change the white.
See, oh my God.
Ta-da.
Jordan got it.
I
Jordan.
swear I've unticked every box that is fixed width, and I've fiddled with all of these. Yeah, okay.
It happens.
That's why we have
Oh my
office hours.
Oh my
Nice, just a
God.
pair of
Okay.
fresh eyes is everything.
I think there might have been still one more on 99. Was there, Reece? Have a look.
20, 20, 20.
Oh, no. Sweet.
Okay. Yeah.
Thanks,
I don't think it
Jordan.
needs to be 20, but they just all need to be the same.
What? So these can't be fixed width? Is that?
Well, nah, if you make it a fixed width, you'll have that same issue, yeah. But what you can do is if you go back in there, you can make you can also make a max width. So if you made the max width, see that third box down?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you can set that on all of them and make them all the same, and then you should get the same thing if you don't want it to go any bigger.
No, well, so the max width, I've just got it. I guess if they're not fixed width, yeah, okay.
Like if the minimum width is 100 and the max width is 100, then it is fixed width. But do you know what I mean? So you can get pretty close to it by adjusting it. Like if you went 80 and 90, there won't be as much play in it.
Yep. God, I swear I clicked these boxes and unticked fixed width and tried every combination possible.
I feel your pain. I have done that on so many occasions.
I did it last night.
I had one time where I was working on the designer at AirDev wasn't available to make the change I needed on the same day. And I must have spent 5 hours just trying to get it to work right, the responsiveness. And it's like, that was 5 hours of my dev time that I was spending on design, and it just drives me nuts. So
Yeah. Well, bring on this new.
yes, bring on the new responsive
Right.
engine. Yeah, for sure.
All right, that's all I got. Thank you.
You're welcome. Jordan, what do you have for us today?
I don't actually have anything this morning.
You're just hanging out? Are you still on lockdown?
Yeah, still in lockdown yet.
Oh my gosh. That must be driving you crazy.
Yeah, she keeps extending it by like 4 or 5 days at a time rather than just saying like, oh, you're in for 4 weeks. It's like, oh, you might get out on Friday, but no, we don't.
Where are you, Jordan?
New Zealand?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yourself? Are you in Australia, is it?
I'm Australian, but I'm living in the Philippines.
Philippines, oh nice.
Yeah, Kim is in the Philippines, and she was telling me that they've just been on lockdown. Like they never stopped being on lockdown.
That's true.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, we always have some sort of modified, enhanced quarantine. here.
General. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they just keep adding letters to it. Yeah.
Oh wow. All right.
But I'm currently in lockdown here at the moment. But it's not really lockdown, like they say it's lockdown, but you can still go outside and do your things. There's just a liquor ban, and everything shuts or has been shutting at like 10:30.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, that's all right then. So the
I
bars
think
and stuff
it's-
still open or nah? Can you get cafes and takeaways and
You
stuff?
can't
yeah.
eat out.
Yeah, it depends. It like a couple of areas here are on more extreme lockdowns than others because there's been outbreaks. So
Sure.
That's all bad. All right. Well, we're coming back around to Brittany for a second round. Did you want to take care of that database
Yes.
thing? Okay, cool. So if you'll go ahead and share your screen, what we'll do is we'll add a status field. But before we do that, we have to kind of think through like how you want to manage the statuses. I think probably the easiest way is with an option set. Have you
Okay.
ever worked with an option set before?
No.
Okay, option sets are really cool. When you go ahead and create an option set called work order status. And then at the end of it, in parentheses, put options. Because that'll help you find it later. All right, so options are kind of like data, except it's just loaded on your page load for your app. It's text that the app just goes ahead and loads every time. And so it's right there and available for your app to use. A lot of people use it for their drop downs anytime they have a drop down. I like to use it anytime I have like a status field because if I ever want to change the name of that status, I can just go to the option set and make the change. I don't have to go to each place where it's used and make the change.
Mhm.
So it's helpful that way. another reason why it's helpful, I don't know that we'll be using that reason today, is because options can have attributes. So like your data types can have fields, your option sets can have attributes. And but the attributes are sort of hard coded in. It's not something that you can change on the fly. So like you wouldn't be able to change an options attribute from the app itself. In fact, you can't even add options or change options from the app itself. It's something that you have to do in the back end, and then you would have to deploy it to live from development in order for the changes to take effect. So that's just a brief overview of what option sets are. So now that you've created an option set, I know of at least 3 statuses that you want to have for your work orders. One is current, so you put that under new option.
So put current status or just put current?
I would just put current.
Mhm.
And then completed. And then you probably, do you have like a draft at all, or an archived or deleted?
I don't have one yet.
Okay, that's fine. So just current and completed is fine for now. Right, and so from there, we can go back to the data types. Under work orders. So click on work orders. You're going to add a field called status. And then under field type, now you're looking for work order status options. There you go. And so now you have a, now when you create a work order, you'll create it to have the status current. And then when you were completing the work order, you would switch it to completed.
Okay, so I would do that in
And the workflows, yeah.
okay, so do I add that here? No, that's
So you're not going to be creating a new work order anymore. What you'll be doing is you'll be making a change to
okay.
a work order. And it would just be parent groups work orders, I think. And you'll change the status field. And you'll make that equal to completed.
Okay.
Yep. And then the fields that you were keeping on that separate data type for the completed work orders, you'll need to recreate those fields on your work orders data type and fill those out here.
Okay. I would
Say that
need to-
again?
Yeah, I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, so go to step 1.
Okay.
So in your completed work orders, you have these fields, completed, uploads,
Mhm.
right? So you would need to add a completed uploads field to your original work order, right? So
Oh,
you can do it right from where you are. I can show you how.
Okay.
So just change another field. So click the button. Nope, you were in the right place. Just click change another field. Click there, and at the bottom, create a new field
Okay.
and completed work uploads, I think is what you were calling it, or completed uploads.
Yeah, completed uploads.
And that would be file, and it would be a list. And now you're going to add the multi-file uploaders value. Yep.
Okay.
There you go.
I think the other one was work order.
And so you don't need that anymore because it's going to be the same work order. So you don't have to refer back to it.
Okay.
Yep. And so now what you want to do is on your search on that other page, like where you're showing the completed ones, instead of searching for completed work orders, you're going to search for work orders. And then you're going that have the status completed. The only tricky part here is we have to make sure that it's that the person will need to have another constraint. So it's not just completed by, but it's completed, but the created by won't work because the person completing it isn't the person who created it. So we'll
Right.
have to figure out how we're going to reference. Are you storing a user who's working on it, like the freelancer
Yes.
somewhere? Yeah,
Well,
so
I'm not exactly sure if it, yeah, it has to be being stored because that freelancer is the only one that can see that card on their profile. So,
okay.
right.
Yeah, we can go back and look and see how you're finding it in the first place in the original list.
So for this data source, it will be work orders.
And then
And
it'll
it-
be whichever field has the freelancer in it, you would want to make sure that the freelancer is the current user. And then you would add a new constraint. And you would just say the status is equal to completed. Yep. And then, yeah, so once you get that created by out of there and you figure out the right constraint to use to search for the work orders that are completed, where the current user is the freelancer, then you'll just change your, have to change a couple more things, but it should work.
Well, okay, so this is the freelancer's profile page, and I have it searching for work orders accepted
by.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, you'll want to make sure the search is for accepted by equals current user.
Okay. One is a yes, no field. So okay.
You nailed it.
Yep.
Okay, and then now we just need to make sure in that reusable. So that's the repeating group. Go click on the reusable.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so now we're just saying current cells work order. Here we go. And we just saw a new issue pop up. Click on the issues.
Must be last action. Oh, I just need to move it.
Okay. And click on the issues again.
Oh, that's I
You know
had
what
to
they are?
yeah,
Okay.
I had to reinstate the Google Maps thingy because it took away something that I needed in the workflow. It's something that's previous, but I had to take away you remember when
The
you put
ones, yeah.
yeah.
Mhm, got it. All right, let's test it and see if we've restored it. Oh, we won't have anything that's completed because we
Right.
haven't
So
done
how
it yet.
Okay, I'm trying to understand what I'm doing here now. So now I won't need this page at all. Well, it won't really
No,
have the card on there. It will just have the information.
Yeah, you'll still, if you still want this page to show them their past work orders, just the way you're getting to that information is you're doing a search of the work orders and you're constraining it by those work orders that are already completed. So it'll just show you a different subset of the work orders.
Okay.
Yes.
So this thing is. I'm sorry, my daughter's coming downstairs.
All right.
Okay, so where do I go from here? I'm still a little confused.
Okay. So where you go from here is go ahead and preview where you were completing work orders before and complete
Okay.
another one.
Okay.
Have one to complete.
Yes. This.
Yep.
Oh. I think that same one is still up there. And that's another thing I have to do is like when it's
Once
completed.
it's complete, hide it.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool because we now have the mechanism to do that.
Okay. So complete order. Let's just put anything in the same picture. Okay.
There you go. So that's working. So if you go to the other page in the editor, in the design,
Which
the one before the completed work orders, so the
the
profile
actual,
or nope,
the profile or the
wherever it is you're
This-
clicking to complete
okay.
before it's
Well,
complete.
it's on the repeating group. That's what I was doing. Here we go.
No, so I want to go to the repeating group that's showing the cards of the
gotcha.
work orders that have not yet been completed.
Okay. Right here.
Yep, so go click into the search for work orders. And then what we do is we're going to add the new constraint and the status equals current. And now we have to go to the place where you create work orders
Okay.
in the first place.
Okay. The work orders are being created under a business owner's profile. So, why is this? And you want this? Yeah, this is the repeating group where the work orders are being created from. But do you
Okay.
want?
Where's the button that creates them?
Oh, okay, send a pop-up. New work order, no, that shows the pop-up. Oh, here we go. All right.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Just one moment.
Okay.
Jordan, do you know any gardeners? Are you still with us? I need an Australian gardener.
Sorry, I was on mute.
So
I'm in New Zealand, Jay.
Oh, sorry. I can't tell the accents apart. Are you a native New Zealander?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. So I could probably find a gardener in New Zealand for you.
I think it would probably be fine.
Hmm.
I need to figure out what the app works like for someone who's not in the US, and I'm
yeah.
not sure what's going to be different, and I don't even know exactly what to ask. So
Yeah.
go.
Why New Zealand, out of curiosity, of all places?
Are you asking Jordan like why he's a New Zealand native?
I meant to. No. I meant to ask you, Jay. Sorry about that. Why Australia?
Oh, because in the United States and most United States, gardening is a seasonal thing, and the opposite side of the world, they start gardening when we finish. So if I end up with a good user base on both sides of the globe, it'll be an active app all year round.
Got it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay. I'm sorry about that. Thank you for your patience. So let's see. So when you click that submit work order request, the workflow on that, create new work orders. We just need to set another field and set the status to be current. Okay, so you won't see any, since you haven't created any of the work orders with the current status, any of your previous data will seem to have disappeared. It hasn't really. You can manually set those statuses if you wanted to,
Okay.
or you can just create new work requests.
Okay.
But yeah, you should be set now.
Alrighty. Thank you.
You're welcome. Was that easier than you thought?
Yeah, it's just like a lot of ins and outs where you have to connect everything together. So I think that's when I start to get a little confused, when we have to switch through different fields and all this stuff. So I'm just trying to soak it all in.
Are you
slowly.
laughing, Jay?
Yes,
Yeah.
So
in sympathy, not
Yeah.
fuel.
Yeah. Yeah, we feel your pain. We've spent a lot of time frustrated with the same stuff. I remember it wasn't quite a year ago because I hadn't been doing Bubble long enough a year ago, but in a few weeks I'll be celebrating the anniversary of like you said, literally pulling my hair, trying to figure out why I can't get that expression to turn blue. It just stays
Right.
red all the time.
Yes, yes,
It's like,
yes.
why won't you turn blue?
And I
Awesome.
have absolutely no previous knowledge of any of this. Like, this is just all new. I just decided
Yep.
to, like, let me just step out and see if I could try something new. So this is just
Well,
way
welcome.
out of my league.
No, it's
No,
not.
it's not out of your
No,
league.
it's not out of your league. I can already tell you, you've stuck with it for 2 months and you've already built what you've built. So
Yes.
you have the chops to do this. You
Yes.
just have to like keep being persistent. This
Right.
isn't, it's not over your head. It's not out of your league. You're just learning. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you for helping me, because this
Of
is
course.
very much needed.
Yeah. All right, Jay, what you got?
Okay, so this is the message center, and let me share my screen. Okay. Okay, so this is this is just your standard setup. There's the conversations. This is obsolete based on your recommendation. So I haven't deleted it yet, but it's not in use. So it's just a list of users. And then there's messages, which is just a list of it's just the conversation. And then these are just things for my interface. And, oops. Okay, so here's the interface. This is all. I've got a couple questions about this, but this is what I'm working on right now is the sent. So I'm shocked this is working, because when I shut down last night, I swear it wasn't. But here we are. This is correct, except for the repetition. I put in unique elements, but it's still coming through. And the fact is, I'm not really sure why it's working, so it's pretty hard to fix what you don't understand. So this is how this is right now. Messages, search, created by current user. Yeah, that's it. It's just the ones that the user created. And unique elements isn't working. I don't know why.
Search for messages where created by equals current user. But it's showing you duplicates?
Yeah, it's showing me.
Are you sure that there aren't actually duplicates in the database?
Well, let me double check, because it's certainly possible.
Because I mean, that's a super simple thing. So if there's not actually duplicates in the database, I think I'm
No.
sending you to.
No duplicates. This is the record.
So you have. Okay, go to the pencil. Nope, stay in your data. And for all messages, do that pencil and then created. No, so not editing the record, but the search itself for all messages. On the left-hand side, I want you to create a different view of all messages. So
Okay,
where it's blue, where it says all messages.
I'm sorry. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay, yeah.
Click that pencil. There you go. And then add a constraint. And I want the created by to be Heather. Equals.
I've never done this before. I didn't even know this was here.
Mhm. Okay. And so can we scroll? How many of them total? There's just 2.
Yeah.
All right. Now show me on the page where it's showing duplicates. Okay, so go to that repeating group.
These-
I think you actually have the message twice or several times in the cell. Is that your thought, Jordan?
Sorry, I wasn't listening.
Oh, okay. I heard your voice. I thought it was you saying something.
Typing. What was it?
Oh, no, it's okay. I was
Oh.
just like trying to diagnose this. So there's repeating group messages.
That's just the creation date stuff, the timestamp, and that's
Okay.
the text. That's broken.
Okay, I'm coming in.
Incoming.
Incoming. So if you'll stop sharing, I'll share and I'll
Yes.
head into the app. So here we go. 'Cause I gotta find it. I'm like, where is it?
The page is called Message Center.
Mhm. And then there's a specific group for the sent messages.
Yes, if you click on Elements Tree
Mhm.
and click on Group Everything, down at the very bottom. And then you'll see Sent. There you go.
Okay. All right. And this is what's showing. Additional is message centers, message display is sent. Message is visible. And then who do I run as?
You can run
Heather.
as, yeah, Heather at test.com.
Okay.
There it is. And I just noticed that the database is showing that system welcome message is coming from her as well, which is wrong, which is going to be my next question, actually.
Okay. Well, also because this is sent, but this is not scrolling. So it's like it's not even showing both messages that she sent.
Yeah,
So, okay. So coming here, appearance. So I want to show. Oh, I bet you this is. All right. So for here. What is going on? Okay. Probably cause problems in other places, but we'll undo it. There's something else happening here. There's something I'm not seeing in here. There's a repeating group in this. This is a repeating group.
Yes,
Why?
to show the list of messages. I don't know why.
But the original repeating group is the list of messages, right?
I am lost with this part of it,
That's-
honestly.
Yeah, okay,
Okay.
so this repeating group is a list of searching for messages that the conversation is the parent group's messages. What am I even looking at right now? Group sent message. This repeating group is searching for messages created by the current user, but the conversation equals the parent group's message conversation.
It doesn't make sense, but it was the only way to get it. I mean, it got it to show something, so I left it because if I took that out, then I had no data at all.
So
I
this
don't know
is-
why. Mhm.
Yeah, so you just have a bunch of references to the same list.
Yeah,
So we don't want it filtered by a certain conversation. 'cause
no, I don't.
Yeah, so we're gonna remove this and we're gonna remove this. And actually this doesn't need the search in the first place. It's the repeating group needs the search. We're gonna remove the unique here. We're gonna do the conversation, parent group's message conversation. We're gonna take that out. So messages created by current user, then this group messages, this repeating group we don't need. So we're just going to take this, we're going to replace it by another type. It's going to be a group. I'll let you style it.
That's fine.
And then the data source is going to be parent group's message, and parent group's message is current self's message. So parent here, and then we're going to preview. Still happening. What is going? It's like this is what I'm not even really familiar with Inception, but I feel like I'm in Inception. Group sent message, group sent messages, repeating group. See, we don't need any of these other repeating groups. Like, I don't know what that is for. I'm going to delete it.
I think it's because I copied the original all thread, which does have a bunch of repeating groups to show different conversations. So I think that that's probably what happened. I just copied it down and didn't made as few changes as possible. Instead of, thinking it from zero, which I should.
Okay, we're getting closer.
You can tell by the blank page.
So repeating group sent here. So this is, yeah, so this is search for messages. Current user, and then this group doesn't have anything in it. So we need to add a text element. Let's move this here. Make sure it's in, yeah. And then we'll copy and paste this. I'm just going to keep this really simple. So this will
That's
be
fine. I can change all that
parent
up
groups,
later.
messengers, creators, first name, and then we'll just do the message itself. Text. So just me, or did I change things and they should like be prompting me to refresh the page? When you work faster than Bubble. Nope, it doesn't like me. So this is probably how you ended up with the craziness, right? Is it wasn't working when it should have been working?
I felt like it should have been. I mean, creator, fairly straightforward, but because I don't have a list of messages in the conversation, It
There we
just,
go.
there you go. Okay, so this looks correct, although my data is wrong. This is probably the right display. So that leads to the next question,
Mhm.
which is when someone joins, a new member, they get a welcome message. So I set it up in sign in so that the message is supposed to be coming from the system, like system@gardenbrain.app, because I don't want all those, if there's replies and stuff, I don't want them hitting my my message box. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I wasn't sure how to handle it at all. So I did it this way. I made a user called system, and the message is supposed to come from them. However, I don't know. So does that seem like the right approach or what?
So yeah, you can do that, but you can't do it as a workflow from Heather. You can't
No.
do it in her workflows because it's going to attribute the message to her.
It's in the
So-
sign-in workflow. So I don't know what I screwed up there, but at least I can, I can.
But what you can do is you can do a backend workflow. You can do a database trigger. Is that gonna work?
Well, then is it going to have to start a new, like, am I going to end up with the
same
super
thing.
admin having a conversation with, I don't know if I
So,
should.
I mean, if you like the way that it's working, you just don't want to show it in the sent messages, then you can
Well-
put a condition on specific to that message saying system as the type,
Yeah,
and then you can filter out messages that are of type system.
okay. And then in terms of the database and the load on the database, like if there were, hopefully a lot of members, then that would be a lot of conversations started. Do they have to all be conversations?
So you could do this. You could create a conversation and a message that is a system generated like message, and then I'm trying to think, and then show that, even like append it, like you can do like a merged with, right? And so like you can show it. There's got to be a way. Where do you want to show it?
Well, I just want the user to get it, but if they don't reply to it, then nothing needs to happen to it. But if they reply to it, then I need to see the reply.
So you want them to see it in the all and the unread?
If they haven't read it yet, then yes, the unread, but it should definitely be in the all the first
Okay.
time they visit.
It just shouldn't be in the
Or-
sent.
Well, that's because I screwed up something with the workflow wherever that originates.
No, you didn't screw up. When you create a new message with this text in it, it's
Yeah.
creating a new thing in the database, but it's attributing it to the current user as the creator,
Yeah,
right? So the only thing is when you create this
Yeah, gotcha.
message, if you put the type as system and then have this one at least like filter out anything that has type system, then you won't see it here.
when you say type system, do you mean make a field in like in the conversations,
Yes.
Data type? Okay.
In the message data type.
the message data type? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I understand that. Thank you. That's helpful.
Yep, you're welcome.
Okay.
That was tricky, Jay.
I'm glad it wasn't just me. I spent quite a bit of time on it and I was thinking, do I even really need this? But I do look at my sent messages sometimes. In the meantime, I'm waiting for my VA she's still gathering data. And I have two more, I'm going to do exactly what you described with Justin and the responsiveness, where I'm watching someone use it. I've got two more of those this week. So while I'm waiting for those things to happen, I'm going through my list of cleanup, which is smaller than last time's list, but still alarmingly large.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
I am familiar with the process. All right. Okay, so should we do a build along?
Actually, before you do, I have
Yep.
one more responsive question. If I can just share my screen quickly.
Absolutely. I will stop sharing.
Right. Thank you.
Mhm.
Cool. You can see this.
I can.
Okay, so I got the borders working as per our last little thing. So the new problem that I'm having is that as this pushes across, this typically pops down. If I turn on the things, you'll see that it seems to work fine with this area, but the moment that that it pushes on these two, and these two are also in another box to keep them together. But
I
as
think
Are
this,
they all fixed with?
It's because the rules and reporting field is too big.
the rules,
The text is big. Hey, so if you click on that,
yep,
and then if you change cut off contact, I think you need to go back to the UI builder.
Yep.
So if you go into the overview, click on that. How wide is that box? No, oh, sorry, the text.
how wide is it?
Yeah, so that's 100, right?
Yep,
And what's that one? That's 130.
yep.
So do you want to make that overview one 130 as well?
If it can, will that make a difference? Will it?
I think it will, yeah.
Do you know
So-
why?
No.
Well, they're two different sizes, right? So when it's compacting, it's dropping it down to the next
But
field
why
up.
would it do that? Because they're two different sizes. Like why
Yeah,
would?
They're two different widths, right?
But hang on. This box here is fixed width, right? So why is that even compressing when I'm resizing it?
Which one's fixed width?
So this overview and the rules and reporting is within a smaller box to keep them centered and also together. So when you go responsive and you pull it across, that box shouldn't squish down any further, but it does, and then it pushes it. See that? So in here, when this group hits this group, this group's
click
fixed
on-
width.
Fixed width.
So I don't know why this would even be moving, you know?
Yeah, but it's fixed width, but when it's getting to the other one's pushing it. Click on the outside box.
This one, yep.
No, sorry. The one, yeah, that one. Yeah.
This one, yeah.
So you see you've got a minimum width of 20 on that. So if you change that to say, I don't know, argument's sake, just change it to 80. Yeah, and now do it. You watch, it won't do it.
Okay.
So the problem is that box is going smaller than the box that you've got on the inside.
Yeah, but hang on. This box is now popped down beneath this one though.
Yeah.
So
So
how
go-
do we?
So go back. It's all the same process. So how do you want it to?
Well, I just want these to slide all the way over next to this back, so that it'll fit within the mobile view. So this would just be up here.
Yeah. Okay. So what? It's quite hard to do it when you're just trying to tell someone what to do and you can't actually do it yourself.
Yeah.
Go make it wider again. Yeah. Okay. Now go back into the boxes. So start from the left side. Just click on the. Yeah. So, oh, sorry, on the left side where the back one is.
Yep.
So that box is, so that's going to go down to 20. And then what's the next box over? So, okay, so set it to the mobile view.
Sorry.
Like make it smaller, set it to the mobile view.
Oh, right. Yep.
Now click on the back button on that same group. Well, yeah, sorry, the group that the back button's in. Yeah. So I can't see the box. Where is it?
it's there.
Oh, okay. So you want to make that smaller, right? So change that to current minimum width. Go like I don't know, just try 10%. Has that made it smaller?
No, it's still.
Click on the box that the back button's in. I mean,
Yeah.
that shouldn't be that wide, eh? So now pull the screen out of it, make it a bit wider. Where does that box start? Yeah, that one. So now make it smaller again and just see what happens to that box. Sorry, not make the screen size smaller.
Oh, yeah. Hang on, maybe I should turn the. Does this help?
Oh yeah.
Oh, some funky things going on there.
Yeah, do you need all those boxes up there? Or the groups?
Yeah, I do. So there's a group here grouping these two together so that they don't slide backwards and forwards separately within that box. And then this box here is to keep these two together. So there's 3 boxes to separate the whole, to separate the 3 parts, so that you know, you got your left, your middle, and your right, because I want to keep these centered, because otherwise I was having issues where they were just sliding around and they weren't going where they were meant to be going.
So go back to the box that the main group that the boxes the back buttons in.
This one?
Yeah. And then just slowly slide it back in.
Oh yeah.
The screen. Yeah. So when that hits is where you want it to stop, right? So
yeah, there.
So it needs to stop there. Okay, so click back on it and then change that. How do you apply max width?
I just drag this. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, okay. So keep it.
Let's just say 10% for that.
Yeah, and then you might want to set oh no, that'll be fine. Yeah, okay. And then go to the next one.
Yep.
And then make it a bit smaller and just see if that box stays as
Okay, so say 45%, and
yeah. When you
that's
get to
better.
when you get to there. Yeah. And then you'll have to do the same with the box that the overview and rules is in. So
This one.
yeah. So
Oh, that's fixed width.
so I would probably change it to fixed width, from fixed width, and just set the minimum at because it can be bigger, right? So,
Well, then it like screws with all of this.
nah, but put a max width on it. So just change the, go back onto the box, just for argument's sake, make the minimum width maybe like 90 and then the max width like 110 and just see what happens.
Okay. 90.
So sorry, 90%.
Oh, 90%. And then the max width 100 or 110.
Do you want it to you want it to go bigger, right? If when it's on a, yeah, I would. Do you want it bigger, like on a big screen? Do you want it to be wider than fixed width?
No, so this is as far as I want it to go. So it wouldn't need to go any further than this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, you can make it fixed width, but I think it's kind of better to make it minimum and maximum, so that it centers properly, like when you open it.
Okay, so I've got these two here are now, but this is now colliding again.
Yeah, hang on, but yeah, just push it out from 90. Just go to, I don't know, 100. Just put it on 100, which would be fixed width anyway.
Oh, okay.
99. Did I do? And just go now. So when you get to there, it'll hit and go down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then you have to do the same to that next box over.
Which one are we took? This one here.
Yeah, well, yeah, just push them back up. Yeah. Yeah, change that one as well.
What to 10?
You could try it, yeah. No. So just, yeah, where do you want it to stop? So
I want all of it to stop there, but I want that to be, I want these to stop here and not move at all. Once
so
they
change
reach
that last one to less than 10. 5.
5. Yeah, there's still a bit of,
Change that last one to, I don't know, 2. Just see. 1. I think you just need to make those overview and I would make those overview and rules boxes the same width.
okay, let's give that a go. So you said 130 for both.
Wow, it'd be better if you could make the rules and reporting one smaller, but
Let's say that. Okay, cool. So
I would make them exactly the same size and make them right next to each other and make the box, you know, so there's no gaps in there.
okay.
So move that one over. Yeah. And then move that, and then put that, make sure that that box there is centered horizontally in the parent group.
Yep, it is.
Yeah. Okay, sweet.
Yep.
Now go back.
Let's have a look.
I think it's still off center though, eh? So now click on the rules and reporting box.
Well, that's getting closer though.
Yeah, and then put the fixed margin on the left, line to the left, yeah, and do the same with the overview. Oh yeah,
Yep.
and now bring it back out. So that box that they're in, click back on that one. Yeah, change that to 100.
This one.
Just make it fixed width. Yeah. That's right. So there's still
popping down.
So how big are those boxes that the overview and rules?
130.
130.
Yeah.
What are we, 260? And then what's the, so click on the screen, on the little mobile thing on the left, the current view. What's that size? 375. I'll tell you one a day. So 115. So I think if you
wait, if we set,
I would make those other boxes, yeah, click on that one. I would untick those being fixed width. Yeah.
no, I need them to be fixed width though. Oh, actually, no, that should be, as long as they remain that size though. Well, actually that worked.
Why don't you just put icons there instead and make, does it have to be rules and reporting? What, just to make it look a bit cleaner?
Oh,
Because
I
to me,
could,
it looks like unbalanced anyway, because you got 3 words versus 1.
yeah, I could probably maybe just call it rules, I
Just
guess.
got, overview and rules and put an icon in next to it, and that'll look a lot cleaner.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's just do that for that sake. Okay, that's pretty close, but it's still pretty, I
Yeah,
guess.
you'd need to, what I'd probably do is just hide that, click on that back button. You there? Why don't
Yep.
you just click just on the back, the word.
Oh, yeah.
So just go add hiding rule. And then just change that 73 to say 75. And just go save. And now just bring it out. And then bring it back in. Why did that not hide? Go back to that back. Add hiding width when
Parent is lit when parent. So the parent box is,
oh, that's fixed width there. Yeah, untick that as being fixed width. Yeah. Yeah. So now if you go make it smaller, do you need that to say back, or you just have the button name?
I guess I could maybe just increase the size of that image and then keep that image there.
Well, it'll have back like when you're on mobile, on desktop.
Yeah.
Go out. You go. Hold on. So go back to that back.
Where is it? It's gone.
No, it'll be on the left there. So just go up. See how it says hiding rules, text versus copy. Is it?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So make the box that it's in. Go back to the box that it's in,
yeah.
not that one, the parent one. See that'll be set to 20 again. So you need to change that, make it like 90%. Yeah, and now when you do it, it should, as it gets smaller, and then you just have to align them. So chuck them so they're both on the left. And untick fixed width as well.
On this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it should disappear. Yeah. Go back to the back. Oh, set it in mobile view. Yeah, and then go back to the back. And then we took the hiding rule off, so put the hiding rule back on. Yeah, yeah, just go save. Yeah, now do it.
Yeah. It doesn't really want to come back, does it?
It'll be the size of the go back to the hiding rule. Don't
Yeah,
remove it, just click on the left. It should bring it up, does it?
No.
No. Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
No, that's the box. Why does it hold it like completely so you can't get it back?
Just remove the hiding rule. And then if you click on the back button and then go add the hiding rule again, but don't click save, and then you can just move the, yeah. Oh, I thought you could. Yeah. Click add a hiding rule. So that's 65.68 of the parent width.
So the parent width is this one, which doesn't change.
It should
Really?
change. Yeah. So current minimum width. And just make the maximum width on that 100. Yeah. And it's not quite in that box though, eh? That's probably an issue. So see, yeah, see?
Yeah, it's outside this. What's
Yeah.
going on there?
You've made, well, that box goes down smaller than what that one is. So you know how it goes down to 10%.
It's
Yeah.
very
But
12.
if you change that, it's going to push everything out.
A couple of
Yeah.
pixels is probably okay.
All right.
That
Do it now.
works. Now we got
So add that hiding rule back on. Yeah. Just try.
no, because this still isn't. See, this isn't moving.
It should be there.
So the hiding rule is based on this box's width moving, which it isn't.
It's going from 90 to 100.
Yeah, but it's not greater than the so 90% is the,
Yeah.
hang on. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's go click back. Yeah. Go back to the back. Apply mix. Current mix. Make that fixed width, the back button.
Sorry.
Make the back button fixed width. Yeah, and then no, that's not going to work. Change it. Make it 90 and 100, the same as the box. Yeah, no, the back. Yeah, make that one. 90, 90 yeah, 90%, and then max width 100. And then do the same to the button, if you can.
Yep.
No, the back button, you know, the icon.
Yep.
So when it gets to there, okay, it's shrinking it. So what's happening is when that master box is in there, starts shrinking, then that's when the other one does. So what you want to do, what point do you want it to go?
I just want that to push all the way across and then maybe have that back button disappear. Yeah, oh, let's just say the 375 or just before that.
Okay, so go back into go into the back. Add hiding rule.
Well, given that this is an icon and stuff, there's no real need to have a minimum and a max width on it because it's got to stay the same size.
Well, it just, if that stays the same size, then the master group in it's getting smaller, which is pushing it down to the next line.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can. I mean, if you want, it's up to you.
Okay. Yeah, again, this is on the next step though.
Yeah, so just change that other box to again, if you can fix it by making it fixed width, but there's a better way to do it. I don't think making stuff fixed width is really ideal. But go back into it, the master box.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, make it fixed width. I mean, that'll bring it back up. But if you play around with the settings on it, there's a better way to do it.
Okay.
Just depends how much time you want to spend on it.
not even this bloody much. Jesus.
Yeah.
What a pain in the ass. Okay. Yeah. I think that should do it for now. Thank you very much for that. I think
There's
that's
good news though, Reece, as well, which is this will be all obsolete when Bubble releases their new responsive engine.
oh my god.
So we have been assured that there's not going to be like, if you upgrade to the version of Bubble, it'll automatically change you over to the new system, because it's not going to be backwards compatible. So you'll have to make a conscious decision to move over.
Oh my god.
Does that mean we have to do responsiveness again on any pages we wanted to update?
Yep.
I
Yeah, but
mean,
you
if
may as
it's
well just
better
create-
than,
I mean, they're going to try to approximate it as closely as possible, but
Yeah.
but there's yeah, they've been pretty clear that this is not going to be like you upgrade it and all of a sudden it works kind of thing. It's going to
Yeah.
be, you decide to make the change and invest in the resources to get it working again the way you want it.
To be fair, though, you can just create a copy of your app, right, and either put it on someone who's got an agency plan or just copy it over so that you can see how it works on the new one.
No,
Upgrade
but I
and
mean, you
work from
upgrade,
there.
you upgrade and you put it on development and you test it. And if you don't like it, you revert back. That's all. So there's no harm, no foul in terms of like trying it and seeing if it works out and how big of a deal it is for your app, but it's not.
if we
gonna
leave
be a
our
tip.
pages as is, you're saying they will or they won't break?
They won't break until
Okay.
you decide to do the new
Break
engine.
them.
That's what I've read.
Mhm.
That's my understanding. For
That's
sure.
what
Well, I
that's what
can't
Bubby said.
imagine that. Yeah, I can't imagine that they'd say, hey, we're going to upgrade and everybody's stuff breaks. That's not logical. So
Yeah. Look at that. We've got so many people on office hours today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, that's awesome. What should we do with the rest of the time? I've got, I don't know, my noon meeting moved itself by an hour, so I have time.
Let's build and launch a new Facebook to compete.
Let's build and launch a new Facebook like every client ever wants. Like, can you do this for $200
$200.
and have it done yesterday at 4 p.m. so I can go ahead and be ticked at you because you didn't get it done?
can we do
God damn it,
something
Tonya.
with merged databases? I've never worked with those and you mentioned it earlier. I'm very interested.
Oh, yes. Okay, cool.
An intersection, either
Sure.
or.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do it. So somewhere I have my August sandbox. All right. Okay, so this is really helpful for the question of how can I be inclusive rather than exclusive with my filtering, right? So the example is, let's say I have a data type called, what should we call it? Widgets? What do you want to call it?
How about do horses and dogs? Something we can totally understand.
Animals.
There you
Okay.
go.
Okay. So we have animals and we want to create here, and we have type of animal, and we're going to actually, I'll make that should I make it an option set or should I make it, how do I want to do that? Let's just make it a text for now. So type, and the type is of text here. All right, so we're gonna have horses and dogs, right? And probably, I don't know, birds, right? And cats. So let's make some things in our database. So we'll start here with all animals, new entry. So we'll say horse. Got it, new entry, we'll make another horse. And dog. And cat. And bird. Okay. So now if I refresh my page, it should hopefully show me the things that I just created. So I have 2 animals of type horse, one of dog, one of cat, one of bird. Now, when you're creating filters for like on any page, when you want to filter things, usually you're filtering down your list and you're getting narrower and narrower. So when you're adding filters to your repeating group, so if I go here and I create a repeating group, and I search for animals, and then I want to constrain the search not here, but rather with filters from inputs on the page, right? So we can say, how do we do that? Let's do something that's going to add a state to the page. So we'll do buttons. And the first one will be horse. Second one will be dog. And bird. I'm going to set the state here. Type. List. And this one is bird. Take it because it's a list of type. Oh, no, it won't take it. So because it's a list, I have to do the merge data sources type plus item. And then bird. Only when type. Bird. And I won't worry about doing the opposites to take it back out of the state, right? So I'm just going to put this on each one. Cat. See, look at that. I learned something from you, Thomas.
What were you saying? Sorry about that.
I learned, so I started using that right click and add edit workflow
Oh yeah.
instead of going like to do it from the inspector. That's all you, thank you.
You had mentioned it and I thought it through and it turns out that it's 2 clicks to do that.
I know, but for some reason I just gravitated towards it just a second ago
Gotcha.
instead of going.
Yeah, but I thought about why it was faster because it's 2 clicks instead of 3. So although it's just one more click, one less click, it's slightly more efficient. Anyways.
Right. That makes sense.
Cool.
So if I'm going to filter here, normally what I would do is I would say type contains contains list. is in. So in this case, it would be inclusive. It's almost like I need to have multiple types to show you what I'm doing. Let me think through this. But you know how like when you have like, okay, on Amazon, I can show you. If I'm just searching, here, and I can go like, I can select the book series here and I do this check mark and it like does it, but sometimes you can click on multiple check marks. The normal way that we filter in Bubble will actually filter things out by the additional check boxes and require that the thing that you're looking for, that you're searching for, has all of those check boxes, right? Instead of saying, well, if it has this or it has this, I want to see it in the list. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so the merged data type, the thing that I'm talking about doing. So if I go and I change this data type here, instead of making a type one thing, and make it a type text that's a list of things here. So I'll take this one out, go to the here, filtered where, yeah, so change this where type contains merge data sources type, then it has to have everything in it in order for us to get the match.
Yes.
Right. So yeah, so if I'm adding things here, it's going to filter things out instead of saying, okay, if I select cat and bird, show me not things that are both cat and bird, but things that have cat and, or things that have bird, right? So that's the way that it typically works. So here we'll just do current cells animals type. So if I preview, cells animal type. Why wouldn't that work? Oh, that. Why is that not working? List of text. Oh, maybe it wants a, I don't know, it should still show me the list of text, I think, right? With a comma separator. Rather than making me put it in a repeating group. Oh, I know why my data is corrected because I changed it in the middle. Here. So let me restore that. Trying to think through this use case, it's not very good. So if I go here and I set. That's a bird. No, that was a cat. Okay, and then here. The data type. Like I'm doing a really clunky job of this. Type. Word. Yeah, I am totally messing this up, guys. I'm sorry. Because I'm trying to like rush through the use case here. So the current cells animals type. I wish I wouldn't do that. But the idea is that you have the same data type, and then instead of filtering, what you do is you merge the lists of the same data type together, right? So if you want your checkboxes here to be inclusive rather than exclusive, what you would do here is instead of using the filtered here is you would use a constraint. So I'll just go ahead and delete the filter. And you would use a constraint, search for animals where the type contains, or the type is, where the type is, and then you would say bird. Oh, it's not going to take it because it's a text here. Bird, and ignore empty constraints. We'll do the filter. I've totally messed this one up. This is so embarrassing. Does anybody understand what I'm trying to do, or is like completely like so off course?
I can't say that I wish I could say I understood. I don't.
Okay, so I want to search my database for things that are either horse or dog.
Yeah.
The typical way that I do it is I search for something and I filter and it's making sure that everything has both of those things. But a horse is not a dog and a dog is not a horse. So that if I click here and I click here and it's looking for something that's both a horse and a dog, it won't show me anything.
Yes.
But if I do the search for the horse, which is an animal, right? And I merge it with a list for animals that are dogs, then I will get the list that I'm looking for.
That is super useful. I thought that merge was merging two databases, but it's not. It's merging.
It's
two
not, it's
fields.
merging two separate lists of the
Yeah.
same data type, right? And I just have a really poor example here. The example that I used before, because somebody asked for it, was he had images. And so he had just a separate data type of images, and then the images had types. And he wanted a library of all of his images, right? But they didn't have, he wanted them to be like segmented, right? Is that how he wanted it? There was something where, oh, I know what it was. He had images in different data types, and he wanted to merge the list of images from each data type into one list and display it, right? So he didn't have a separate data type of images. He had images on the user, he had images on the restaurant, he had images in the profiles, right? And he wanted to take a list of all of the images on the site. And so what we did was we had here, so like it would be like if I put an image field here, and I put an image field here, and then I did a search for image, right? So the type of content was image.
Yeah.
And so then I'm gonna clear here. I'm gonna search for animals image, and then I'm gonna merge it with a search for API call counters image. Like that.
Yeah.
And so now what I can do is I can have the image here, and it will show me the list of the animals images first, and then it will show me the list of the call counters images. And the thing that I didn't figure out from that use case was I didn't figure out how to like sort the list or change it, because I kind of wanted to shuffle them up. Right. So it wasn't just like all one type of picture and then
Yeah.
all type of another. And I never did figure out how to like sort or reorder it or whatever.
I wonder if you could do it by putting an image element in the repeating group, and then under the source, dynamic source : random.
Well, no, because usually it's going to be the current cell's image, right? That's how you make sure they're all shown. But there was no, see here, there's no sort here. I could do unique elements to make sure I don't show repeating ones. So intersect with, I used intersect instead of merged, it would only show me the items that are in both lists.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sorry I messed up the original example, because that was a terrible use case for it. Because
Well,
you're
the
not
point is
searching,
understanding how to use it, and this
right?
does
It's the data types that are you're searching for one kind of thing, and then but you're searching a different list of that kind of thing and merging them together. So that's why. Should we take on anything else? Or did everybody tune out?
I'm still here.
You're still here. Thank you.
I'm still here too.
I hope I didn't confuse you too badly. I wasn't trying to. It wasn't my intention.
So I have, this is not, I have a little thing that's driving me nuts, and I can't understand why it doesn't work. If we have
Okay.
time, can we take a look at it?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Okay. It's under sign in. I can share. I'm not sure how you want to do this.
Yeah, go ahead and share.
Okay. Which screen? There it is. Okay, so. Oh, I'm having some kind of problem with Bubble. It's not showing my workflows. Let me log out and log back in. Can you log out? Are you out of Garden Brain now, Tonya?
Oh yeah, I'm out of it. I'll just close it up. Done.
Okay. It's loading, supposedly. So my purpose is I'm trying to capture, we've talked about this before, but I'm still very adamant that it needs to get done. I want to capture users' country of origin when, you know, without having to ask them. As soon as I find my cursor, there we go. Ah, is that it? Yeah. Okay, good. So this is a success screen, you know, after they've been signed up. This is just normal. But then they get that extra screen that asks them like verify your location and your zone. So location is just an input, and the result of a location is the actual street address, city, state, and country. It's as it should be. But I'm unable to get country either from this or any of the other ways I've tried. I swear this was working on some other part of the site before, and now it's not. So whenever I sign up a new fake user, I just get a blank. It doesn't do anything. And I'm not sure. I did some Googling and there was a lot of talk about APIs. I don't want to go that far. And I don't think I need to. Because if I'm already getting this, like, let me look at some data. Why can't I just... that one I had to put in manually, but you see this is correct. Yeah. So like, I mean, this is here. I just want this separated out and put here as well.
And and you don't have an extract for country?
Well, I do. And it's not doing its job. So I've got this set up. That says city, but it should say country. I mean, you know, I was just trying to, I tried country code, no matter what, it's not.
What's the data
filling out.
type of the country? Is that just text?
I think I made it just text because when I made it geographic, let me check though. When I made it geographic, it kept putting in those weird default addresses that don't make any sense.
Mhm.
So I was like, and then you can't click out of them. They don't let you, you're stuck with them.
Okay.
So I ended up, country. Yeah, I made
Yes,
it just
that's a
text. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, and this happens on sign up?
Yeah,
Okay, so can you show me? Like signing up and
to go through the process or just show you what it looks like.
yeah, go through the process on the preview.
Okay. I have to log out. Okay, all this stuff doesn't really matter what happens here. This is all correct. One thing that's interesting to me is that while it's saved as USA in the database, this says US.
Okay.
Okay, and then there's your success message.
Yeah, so let's just go to that new user in the database. Okay,
So
so
the
Middle
location is right.
River, MD USA. Okay, so I think and location is of type geographic address, or what is it? Or is location also text?
I don't remember. Let me check. Geographic address.
Okay. So and then show me how you're saving the geographic address.
Through the input, and I believe that that's through, how am I saving that? There we go. So there's the input, and it's through the initial content, which you can see works fine.
So the input is current geographic position. What is the current, so this is just a regular text input, or what is it? It's a text input that is set to be of type text. And where is the current geographic position coming from? That must be a plugin.
No, it's just a, like current page width, it's just an option that you're offered when you set up the input.
Okay, so then when you're saving the changes to the user, is it not available then?
When you say it's not available, what do you mean?
So go to the workflow where you're trying to save the country.
Right, so there's that. This is that.
So instead of
extractable.
putting input city states value, why not try current geographic position and then extract the country?
I think because it didn't work,
Okay.
but I will try it again. Or maybe that's why I didn't do it. Maybe it wasn't available. Wait, there it is. That's why, because it kept popping back to these crazy addresses. I'm not in Switzerland. And when you try to get out of them, you can't. You know what I mean?
So that's weird that it would work in the design tab and not in the workflow tab. So, oh, sorry. You had, okay, so put the input back in there. That's fine. Like just undo what you just did. So then in country, can you put input and it's no, input city states value is the name of the input, right?
Yes, yes.
And what's in the default section or the initial section of that input?
The initial content is, it says it's just city and state, but what it ends up saving is the whole thing. So if we look over here,
No, go back, let me read.
back to the workflow or the design?
The design. I'm just trying to understand current geographic position, extract city, current geographic position, extract state code. Let's make an invisible, let's make an invisible group. Make the type of content text. And then the data source should be current geographic extract country. Okay, and then let's go back to your workflow. And then country, put in that group that you just made, that group's value. Okay,
Make sure that's called. Yeah, that is. Okay.
and then let's try it again.
Give me a second.
Back to the database. Nope.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah. It hates us.
It does.
Try it with instead of country code country, but I don't know that it's gonna work.
Okay. I don't think it will, but I'm willing to try.
Yeah. I don't honestly, does anybody have any ideas? I don't know why that's not working. That seems bizarre to me.
I wasn't really paying attention, to be fair.
Yeah. It's like it's saving the whole thing in the location as the geographic address. But before you do that, hang on just 1 second, undo what you just did. Go back to country code and then click more. And then converted.
What are you trying to do?
So we're trying to save this text. So formatted as, I don't know like how we can tell it to be text. Because that's the geographic address. It's saying that it'll be formatted as text and it's showing blue, but I have a feeling it's not. Like
You want to save it as text and not a link.
Yeah, it's a geographic address type, which should be text, but it's not. It's not treating it like text. It's not saving it the way that we think it should. So country code, click more again.
What about, did you try the extract? How it says extract?
Yep,
It's
so
already
we've
there.
extracted the country code, but it should be text, but it's not showing as
Oh.
text. But
Mm.
it's saving in the geographic address field. So
Mm.
formatted,
Formatted just offered URL encoded,
yeah.
hashtag.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely looking at it like it's already text, but for some reason, it's like whatever it's getting, it's not grabbing that country code. But you're right, we can see that it's, it's saving to the other field.
Yeah. If all countries had like 3 letters or 2, but they don't,
Then you would-
otherwise I would do a database trigger.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I gotcha. Well,
Can
country
you do it
codes
with,
should probably be 2, right?
Could you just do it with the rejects?
Well, then that again leaves the thing that do they all have 2 or 3, and letters, characters? I don't know. I think that some have 3.
Yeah, I think country codes probably only have 2 as opposed to the country, but I'm not sure. That's a weird one. I don't understand what the hang up is with that, Jay. I'm sorry.
When I searched for, I looked into that, how many characters a country code has, and all I got were calling codes, like I don't even know what this list of country codes is. Is it a bubble thing? Is it an official thing? Because I'm looking
Could
at a
you just
list.
maybe like when people sign up, just ask for their phone number?
I
Mm,
am trying to avoid collecting anything that I don't have to collect.
yeah.
So that, and I also don't want them to click any more than they have to click. So I'm trying to do as much as I can on the back end. But I did just do a search for country codes, and I don't know what the differences are, but there's a type that is just 2 characters. There's a type that's 3, and then there's a type that's numbers, 3 numbers. I don't know how to test this.
Can you get it through the IP address? Can you say that,
So
Tom?
I tried that.
Yeah.
And I had the same exact problem. I did try it because that's how I got their zone. This is their hardiness zone.
Yeah.
And I got that, ended up using this because I tried IPGeo and IPFI, I don't know how to pronounce it. And they both worked on the screen, but then again, they didn't work in the database. They looked like they were working, but the same problem as this.
Sure. Okay.
And then in terms of the rejects, well, I thought about that, but if you look at the data, even though, US is certainly a legitimate country code, this is how the location is getting saved right now in the database. So that's not, that's 3 characters.
Yeah, but that field's not a text field. So there's something like,
Telling
it is a
use
text
SA,
field, but it's
geographic, it's wonky.
not, it's wonky. It's a
So
weird text field.
if all, and I don't know that, I don't think anyone's going to have the answer to this, but then my next question would be, like, I'm looking at this list on my other screen of country codes, and yeah, there's a protocol of 3 character country codes. Well, if I knew that they were always going to be 3 characters, I could do a regex up here with a database trigger. I just don't know for sure if that's how it is. And because I don't know where this comes from.
Especially since when you tell it to save the location, you're not telling it to save the country.
Exactly.
Could you just maybe set it up for the US at the moment, and then set up a database trigger that, like, if one doesn't match, then it creates a notification for you to look into it?
When you say one doesn't match, you mean
like if one has more than 3 or less than 3 letters?
it's a possibility, but I kind of feel like there's got to be a better way. The other thing is, I haven't had anyone outside the US try this yet. So I don't know what their data is going to look like. And that's why I was asking earlier if anyone knew a gardener on the opposite side of the world, because that would super helpful to see what happens when they sign in, because I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be an adventure.
Well, I mean, ostensibly you're getting it from the IP address, so you could probably try a VPN and see like what it looks like if you sign up using a VPN that's from a different country.
That's a good idea, and I think I'll probably give that a shot this weekend. In the meantime, I can always reach out to Bubble. I just, I mean, I don't like to ask about stuff unless it's seriously their problem. If I can help it, especially after last week when I was asked that stupid question.
Kim is volunteering to be your guinea pig
Kim,
from signing up
awesome.
from somebody.
Okay, Kim.
Yeah. So.
Can we do that now and see what happens?
Yeah.
We're here?
Yeah, let's link me.
Yes.
Let's do it.
All the hardware included in the package that will ship straight away to you. Not including.
Sorry, my fiance works for Shopify, if you can hear her.
No worries.
Okay.
I just put the link in the chat.
Okay, got it.
For the tracking information.
sign up, right?
Yep.
Can you share your
Okay.
screen, Kim?
Oh, that's a first. Okay. Awesome. You see my screen?
Almost.
Not yet. There we
Now
Not
go.
yet. Yeah, hold on.
No, we
I
do
feel like I'm
now.
not. Oh,
We
okay.
can see it now.
Although it mentions few days away from end of this month.
Oh, do I have to?
So far,
Okay.
that's the last update I see from our end.
Hmm.
It's all getting wiped, so whatever you put is fine. Although you're welcome to log in anytime and check. You're gonna have to allow location.
Because we do have like here.
Click
Hmm.
allow location. Allow location.
Oh, allow location.
Yeah. Up
Where?
at the top left. It's an
Oh,
alert. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Sorry. I just made this.
It doesn't look like it's finding your location.
Yeah. Online.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
It isn't. Can you click on no down at the bottom?
Oh, yeah. Those sample articles.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it did. Oh,
Okay.
well,
It found
Close
a little bit
enough.
about you. How close is that?
just about 2 cities away.
Okay, so is it the nearest big city?
It is, yeah.
Okay, that's kind of all I really want from my users. Like, I don't want to know their street address. I don't need that unless they, I just don't need it. Okay, so
Yeah.
and then it's not showing a zone because you don't have one.
I guess
So
I
you
don't,
can-
yeah.
Yeah, you can just click OK, and let me see what shows up in my database if you don't mind.
Okay, hold on. Do I have to fill this out?
Nah, you don't have to fill any of it out. I'm wiping this data anyhow. It's so much junk in it.
So is it a no or a
Yes,
yes?
you
Go
are.
down at the bottom, all the way down, go lower where it says
Alright.
OK.
Do I have to enter anything here?
No, because you
Not
have no
really?
zone. I don't know how to handle that. Just click OK.
It wants me to enter something, I think.
Oh, just put in anything. Some junk would be fine. Just a letter or two. That'll do. Okay, it's good for me
All
to
right.
know
And now
about
you
that.
can stop sharing and we'll share and we'll see what's in the database.
Dun,
Okay.
dun, dun.
Don't do it without us, Jay.
Don't worry. I haven't looked. It's going to be a surprise for everyone. Hey, can you guys see? Can I click the pencil?
Sure.
Okay. Dun, dun, dun. No location and no country.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Oh, that's frustrating. I think I'm just going to have to ask users, at least for launch, I can work on this, but it's not going to stop me from launching, but it is frustrating because
Yeah.
not
it
in
is.
line with what I want the app to be like,
Right.
I gotta get going, guys. I'll see you later anyway.
All right. Bye, Jordan.
Bye.
All right.
Alrighty. Thank you so much. Thank you, Cam, for being a good sport. Thanks for playing.
Got it.
All right, everyone. We're going to be back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. for our next office hours, episode number 94. Thank you so much for everyone for being here. There were 6 of us here at our height. So there was Calum and Thomas and Brittany and Reece and Jordan and oh no, I'm missing one. Jay. So yeah, so thank you everybody for being here. And thank you as always, Kim, for helping out. We'll see you tomorrow. Hope to see you tomorrow.
Thanks for everything. Have a
You
good
guys.
Thanks,
afternoon.
guys.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
bye.
Bye-bye.